Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I'm joined by my colleague, Trevor Sikkema of Pro Football Focus, formerly of PewterReport.com, our friends here on the YouTube channel. Trevor, this is our second go-around for this one. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. As I said in the first go around, dude, it's always good to chat Bucks football with you. We were talking in the pre-show. Maybe this was the maybe this is the first time I've been on the channel, which I can't believe that's the case. There's no way this is the first time I've been. Like we go back to the Pewter Report days, I had to have been on at least once before. But no matter what, it's always great to chat with you, man. It's been a long time coming. It's been too long since we've been able to link up. So I appreciate you having me on.
I thank you for being on, man. And look, we actually have a very fun topic. We already talked about it a little bit, and we're going to
Mhm.
talk about it again. It's about the Leonard Fournette Rashad White situation following the Bucs' most recent game versus the LA Rams. There was a report that came out that Leonard Fournette was extremely frustrated with his lack of, I guess, opportunities in that Rams game, that Rashad White was getting a
Mhm.
little bit more playing time over him. There was some talk, maybe official, maybe not official, that Rashad White had to go up to him and say, "Hey, we need you, man." So it's a loaded situation, right? It's a loaded situation. Todd Bowles was asked about, how do you feel about the running back split? Todd Bowles said, I like what we have going right now. And there's a lot going on there. And this isn't the first time that Leonard Fournette has had frustrations with his use in this Buccaneers offense. So, Trevor, kind of give me your thoughts on this situation and basically just kind of get us up to speed right now.
Yeah. No, it's a strange situation, right? Because first and foremost, the Bucks run game has been bad, right? The reason why they're playing Rashad White isn't because Leonard Fournette's been playing incredible and it's like, oh, let's get the rookie in here. And Leonard Fournette's like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm playing incredible. The Bucks game is bad. Run game is bad. It's almost historically bad right now. How low of a yards per carry average they have, how low their EPA per rush is. I mean, like, it's not good. Now, I understand that the offensive line in front of them has not been ideal. But even then, there have been a handful of situations where 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. I've seen these opportunities and I've seen Leonard Fournette not be able to pick them up in situations where he should have been. If he would have attacked the line of scrimmage with a little bit more ferociousness, if he would have had some more momentum, if he would have really been selling out to go get that first down, I feel like he would have got it. We've seen Leonard Fournette get it before, and he's just not doing it this year. So ineffectiveness is ultimately why they are giving Rashad White more carries. But let's be real about this as well. It might be a little bit more of Rashad White lately, but Leonard Fournette's played over 70% of the snaps this season. He's at 71%. Rashad White's at 28, and then Keyshawn Vaughn's in there a little bit to give up another 1% there to make it even. I, that's about as dominant as you're going to get in today's league. You know, unless you're Derrick Henry or Damian Pierce, like nobody's getting more than 75% of the work at running back. You've got to have some sort of rotation in there. So really, Fournette's not even getting disrespected in that regard. Now, last week, Fournette had 9 carries, Rashad White had 8, and I think it was right before the end of the first half was when Rashad White was in the game, and Leonard Fournette was like, "Oh, I should have been in the game here." Well, I'm pretty sure that was the first series that Rashad White was basically in the game as the running back. So you're saying to yourself, what is he complaining about essentially? Like you've gotten all the carries at this point. You are the guy. If you were running the ball well, this wouldn't be an issue. But I think that he's lashing out just because the Bucks run game isn't good. And man, they've committed to him over the last 3 years. He's been their RB1 over the last 3 years. And I just think that the numbers don't lie in this situation. The run game is not as effective as it should be. And they're trying something different. They're trying to get Rashad White in the game. And James, honestly, when Rashad White is in the game, you see a little bit of that extra juice. Now he's a rookie, so obviously he's trying to prove every single yard he can prove.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. I mean, I'm not holding that against him. Nor should you hold it against him. In fact, it's going to make him look better than Fournette if Fournette's not giving it his all. I don't know, man. It seems like a really weird situation. It sounded really weird when he was like, "Oh, I shouldn't come out. Like I shouldn't have come out of the game. I should have been in the game still." And then there was the report that Rashad White was the one who had to calm him down, like the rookie had to calm him down. And it just seems like a mess right now. And if the Bucks run game was better, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But ultimately, Fournette, when he's in the game, it's not effective. So they're trying something else.
Yeah, and you had talked about this idea too of whenever you're losing games, in concession, back to back to back losses. And yes, they just won last week, but you get frustrated if you're not playing good, if you're losing, and
Sure.
that's completely understandable, right? But, in a similar way to the Devin White stuff last week, which that was a whole different thing. Um, it's the same idea of if you just play better, then everybody's going to be happier. If Devin White
Right.
was playing better, he wouldn't get criticized. If Leonard Fournette
Yeah.
was playing better, then he might not. I mean, heck, I would even argue, Trevor, that even if he was running well, you still have a running back rotation.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Y-
Yes.
you know, so it is. I do understand where you're coming from when you say like, what, why, like, why are you so upset? That's confusing. He might have felt slighted that he wasn't in on what crunch time, or crucial
Mhm.
drives and whatnot. But that happens. That happens. And Rick Stroud wrote an article about it. A lot of Bucs fans have been talking about it. Is this a red flag considering the past? And you know, when Fournette and Ronald Jones, that was a rotation. Fournette came in 2020 and said, "I'm not happy." And Bruce Arians is, said to him, "Hey, it's either you play along here or you're going to get cut. How do you want to do this?"
Right.
I
Right.
don't I don't believe we're gonna see a similar situation because me and you have both talked about this. They gave Fournette the bag. He's gonna be here for a little bit while and he's still going to get his opportunities. But Trevor, how do you how do you work on this situation if you're Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich and the coaching staff? Do you maybe reach out to maybe guys like Tom Brady and say, "Hey, what are we doing about this right now?" Because Bruce Arians isn't there to say, and it's not as reasonable of a situation to say again, like, "Hey, Leonard Fournette, dude, chill," or if you don't want to be a part of this, then get out of here. You can't necessarily say that right now, in my opinion. So, kind of, how do you help mend this situation?
Yeah, so I just looked up Leonard Fournette's contract just because I was curious while you were talking about that. He would have been a negative dead cap hit this year if you would have cut him because he's only 3.9 million on the cap, and he would have been a $8.5 million dead cap hit. Next year he goes up to $8 million on the cap, and his dead cap hit's only 5 million. So you saying that he's going to be around here for a while, I don't think that I don't think they're going to get rid of him immediately or anything. But it probably is a situation where if Fournette continues to maybe give them a little bit of attitude, they actually save money if they cut him next year. So it's not like a guarantee, like, hey, this guy's on the roster no matter what, especially after how they are playing this year. There's nothing that Leonard Fournette is showing them this year to say, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is our guy for the distant future. It is relatively easy to replace running backs in this league, especially for an offense where running the ball has not been good. So that's all the Buccaneers are doing. They're just trying to find another option here. I don't think they're getting, like I said, I don't think they're getting rid of him anytime this year, but this upcoming game is going to be really important, James. This upcoming game, I think, against Seattle is going to be really important because I believe they're going to go back to Fournette. And I believe they're going to, of course, have him as a starter. And they're going to give him every opportunity to kind of prove to be that bell cow guy that he is saying that he wants to be. If he plays well this upcoming weekend, if we get a 100-yard game from Leonard Fournette, he's going to be the guy moving forward. They're going to keep the same rotation that they have. But if not, I mean, if he gets into the game and we're at 7 carries for 12 yards for Leonard Fournette, they're going to go to Rachaad White. And if Rachaad White plays better, we're going to get a lot close to a 50-50 carry split, I think, moving forward, because that's what you have to do. You are a team that is still in the mix of a division title race. They shouldn't be. This team should be well ahead for the division title race, but we know that this year is not going according to plan in a lot of different ways for the Buccaneers. So they're going to they're going to have to get to the point where they just do what they think is best for the team. So that's why I think that this upcoming game is a really big deal, because if Fournette plays well, if he's more effective, they're just going to continue to go to him and they're going to let him be the bell cow for them, that undisputed RB1. But if he plays bad, they're going to have to, Todd Bowles is going to have to be like, look, buddy, you're not playing well. We're not running the ball well when you're in the game. We're going to go to Rachaad. He's given us more. And if he is, then they should go to him. They absolutely should. So that's kind of what I think about that situation. The part of what you said right there about losing and just bitterness and the anger and the frustration that comes with losing time after time and being as disappointing as this Bucs team is this year, I think it's getting to everybody. And you can see that, right? I mean, Mike Evans is uncharacteristically dropping passes. Scotty Miller has been super unreliable for the most part, including in the end zone last week, although they did lean on him a lot to get them back down into the red zone. But like Cam Brates even hasn't looked the same. Obviously, the run game's not great. The O-line hasn't been playing well. Shaq Barrett wasn't as disruptive. Vita Vea all of a sudden wasn't as dominant as we thought he was. Devin White was all over the place and reckless. And it's like, all of a sudden, what happened here? All these guys just look frustrated. They don't look focused at times. They just don't look like they're on the same page. Honestly, James, they don't look like they're having a good time. They don't look like they're having fun. And when you're not having fun, when you're not enjoying what you're doing, I know it's a job. I know they're getting paid for it, but still, you got to enjoy what you're doing. That's what gives you confidence to play the way that you know you can play. Anytime that's not the case, frustration can always creep up. And of course, if you got a handful of losses that you're stacking, that Carolina game, the Pittsburgh Steelers game, right? Like those games that you really feel like you should not have lost. Now there's a ton of frustration going on. And a lot of that mounts. And if you don't handle it the right way, sometimes it could come out and rear its ugly head in a bad way. So I really do think that this upcoming Sunday is going to be crucial for not just Leonard Fournette, but the entire team. So that's ultimately where I'm at here.
Yeah, and like obviously, we want to make this distinction too for everybody watching, not necessarily trying to knock Fournette, but you have to be honest with the situation and, not knocking his attitude or whatever it may be, but you have to be realistic. And if Fournette isn't playing good and he's frustrated over lack of playing time, like those two things aren't, connecting. He's not necessarily putting the pieces together in that situation of I want to play more, but I'm not playing well. You got to make that distinction. You got to make that connection there if you are Leonard Fournette and just say, hey, I've got to play better. That's the biggest thing that's stopping Fournette from maybe even getting more opportunities moving forward. And we'll see if he's going to be able to do that. Like you said, this next game is going to be a huge game because throughout this season, Trevor, they've been saying, okay, we're going to play a little bit more of Rashad White. Okay, maybe a little bit more of Rashad White. Oh, maybe we're going to throw a little bit of Keyshawn Vaughn in there now. And it's getting more and more, it's snowballing a little bit. And maybe that's where Fournette is getting frustrated because he sees that it's snowballing. And right now, Fournette's biggest, wall to get past is his own play right now. And people can point to the offensive line and say, well, the offensive line hasn't been good. And that is fair. But Fournette also needs to do better in terms of making decisions at the line of scrimmage to decide which hole to pit and
100%.
Just overall running ability that we are seeing in Rashad White in certain situations and we're not seeing from Leonard Fournette in other situations. So not necessarily trying to say, oh, Fournette, he can't rebound, he can't recover, and he's going to be gone, and can he be gone right now? No, not saying that at all. But I think that, yes, Fournette can rebound and he can improve. And obviously we want to see him improve. But if he can't, and if he continues to be frustrated, much like what we've seen last week and much like what we've seen in the past in 2020, then the Buccaneers may say, okay, well, look, we're going to keep on playing Rashad White. Now we're going to throw Keyshawn Vaughn in there as well. And that's just something that is worth paying attention to moving forward. Because as you said, Trevor, every game matters even more now. The Buccaneers have had obviously a rough stretch against the Panthers, the Steelers, the Ravens, and they got a little bit of a rebound against the Rams. Even that was a little bit of a shaky win. So you need to put your best foot forward. You need to play the guys who are going out there and proving themselves as reliable players. And right now, Fournette has not been able to do that so far. He can improve, but he's running out of time. So we're going to have to wait and see if Fournette is able to do that. And everybody, we want to, know your thoughts. So let us know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. Trevor, I want to thank you for being on. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find your work?
Everything over at profootballfocus.com. Also right here on YouTube. We have a YouTube show that we do daily at 11 a.m. Eastern called It's Just Football. Myself and Mike Brenner talking everything Buccaneers and also everything else that happens around the NFL. So come hang out with us when you're not watching this fine channel, and we'll talk some football.
Absolutely. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts about Leonard Fournette down in the comments section below about him being frustrated. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you think Rashad White should be playing more? Do you think it's just the offensive line? Give us all your thoughts and opinions about this admittedly weird and kind of loaded situation down in the comments section below. We would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, folks, we'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.